Morning, everybody. Me again, out here in Little Naches, trying to get some home turf riding in. And an interesting topic came up that I think you guys might be able to relate to, and most of us out there in this riding world can anyway, and introduce you to a couple people that, one, you definitely don't know for sure, and the one you might not be aware of, but I've been beyond inspired by this person, and I just like to talk about him a little bit. So without further ado, let's go for a ride. Oh Jesus, golly gee willikers, it is rocky today. Well, good morning everybody once again. Welcome to Trail 952 out in Little Naches. If you ever want to get here, yet again, the old infamous Crow Creek campground is the nearest campground to the trailhead of this. Comes right out of there. It's a fun one if you like a little bit more rockier, technical, got some steep and loose stuff. It's not the easiest loop out here, but it is a bloody hoot. So I'm giving it my best go. I've actually been out here all morning. So finally getting around to filming here. But at any rate, I would like you to very kindly say hello to this guy right here. This is Mikey. Mikey is awesome. Mikey is also mi familia. He's a good man. I met Mikey a few years back, and we just ended up becoming just the best of buddies, and he's one of the best guys and human beings you will ever meet, and just genuinely cares and gives a shit about everybody and everything he does, and he's a hard-working guy that deserves everything good that comes his way in life. I can assure you that. But Mikey got into riding about 3 years ago with us because, you know, I kept poking at him a little bit here and there. He's like, Mikey, come on, get a dirt bike, let's go. So I bought my wife a new bike a while back before her beta, and we sold Mikey the TTR 230 she was riding, and we got him into the sport, but he's been out of it for a while. So a few weeks ago, our buddy Mikey went and bought himself a brand new 2021 Kawasaki KX250XC, the first of its kind, and it is a neat machine. So we did what any self-respecting new dirt bike owner would do. We brought it home and, you know, hit it with a hammer for a while. Figured that out to sort it out, and then we actually put some parts on it, got it ready to go, lowered it down for Mikey, and cut the seat and tweaked the suspension and put all the fun enduro stuff on it, and we actually had a lot of fun building it. So we took him out for his first ride last weekend, and it was it was a little, you know, we'll call it treacherous right out of the gate, but you know, this sport, this type of riding is a very, very perishable skill. So when you get out of it for a while and you come back in Mikey's case, about 2.5 years, you know, it takes a little bit to re-grease the wheels, as it were. But we're putting a couple more things on it, make it a little more rideable for him, so he's not out with me today. But next weekend, it's all on. And I'm telling you about Mikey because an interesting point came up recently to me, that it is never too late to get back into the thing you love if you've been away from it for a while. Never, ever too late. This sport we have here, guys, is one of the better outlets for your overall health and happiness that I've ever experienced. And it's very, very important to keep those things in your life. And if it's not dirt bikes, it could be anything else. It could be, you know, RVing or mountain biking or baseball or whatever sport. It doesn't really matter what it is. The fact is, if you've been away from it, try to remember how doing that activity made you feel, both physically and psychologically. And it's very important for just your overall health, you guys. It's not it's not something I've ever really taken lightly, because I've said it 100 times on the show. Life is too damn short. So your overall level of happiness and fitness and just your quality of life matters a lot. There's only a brief window where you're gonna have that at, you know, an optimum, so to speak. So get back at it. I've known guys out there that have been out of the sport for, hell, 12, 15 years and finally coming back into it. You know what? They're having a ball and they're questioning why they ever got out of it in the first place. And frankly, so am I. There's no way that I can see myself just not doing this. It's not something that's in my future plans or on my radar whatsoever, which is one of the reasons we live in the area we live in, so that we can be close to things of this nature, so that we can come ride anytime we want. And we're going to continue to do so until we are physically unable. And I think my wife can agree with me on that one. So it's somewhat of a new beginning, which are exciting and very, very possible. And I'm going to tell you why. It is time for the first installment of Rhett's Book Picks, brought to you in part, well, by me, because that's it. You guys just got me and that's it. I just finished a book called From Para to Dakar by a man named Joey Evans. Joey Evans is probably the most relentless motorcycle rider and overall human being I've ever been made aware of. And this book is his autobiography about what he went through in his life of riding and insurmountable odds to come back from horrible injury. This man crashed during a hare scramble start and was ran over several times and flung here and flung there. Ended up becoming paralyzed from the chest down. And this guy was given less than a 10% chance of walking again. You know what? The son of a figured out how to walk again, still having no feeling from the chest down, but somehow he can get up and move around. And I'll be damned if he didn't go 10 years later in 2017 and race the Dakar Rally and finish. For those of you that don't know what the Dakar Rally is, it is the gnarliest race of any kind on earth. The odds of finishing are less than 30%. Just finishing, let alone winning. From a guy who can't feel his legs to get on a bike for 2 weeks straight, cover about 7,000 miles over some of the toughest terrain that this planet has to offer, is, I'd say it's amazing, but that word comes nowhere near grasping the severity of that situation. Jesus, little bridge. To Joey Evans, you, sir, are my hero. The South African from Johannesburg is the toughest motorcycle rider I think that has ever been documented. And it should be an inspiration to every human being out there, regardless of whether you're into motorcycles or motorsports or not. His story in this book, if your eyes don't well up with tears at least a couple of times, you are most likely somewhat inhuman. It is a hell of a story, and what the things he shared on a deep emotional level are something not a lot of people do, let alone, you know, grumpy motorcycle racers, right? Because we're all a little rough and tumble sometimes. So if you have not read that book, From Para to Dakar, I highly recommend it. You can get the audio version, which is actually nice because Joey narrates it himself, and even his wife's in on it. I believe her name is Meredith. Seems like a super nice lady. So to you people out there that think, oh nah, I've been out of it too long, I don't want to get back into it, I'm calling your bullshit right now. If this man could do it from probably about the worst situation you can get into physically to getting back out on that bike and doing something that very few human beings have the capability of even doing, in perfect health to begin with. That should be an inspirational lesson to each and every one of you, without question. So, for what it's worth, I'm inspired. That's for damn sure. And for that matter, I'm inspired by our buddy Mikey. That kid had to grow up very fast at a very young age. And the things he's done to be the human being he is today is another thing that's a little bit awe-inspiring in my book. Mikey, I appreciate you, buddy. I appreciate you being my friend. Appreciate you being a part of my family. And the time we've got to spend together and the things we've done have been awesome. And we are nowhere near finished, my friend. Nowhere near it. Ooh, just got to get him back out there. So, that's kind of just the point I wanted to express to you this fine sunny day. But before we go, as always, trying to keep this thing going, the subscriber of the day is a man named Jeff Scheel. Jeff, I hope I'm not butchering your name, buddy. I did my best. He is from Western Washington. Does a lot of riding out there with his kids. Look at those guys. Just adventures all the way around. And that's what I'm talking about, having a family sport. Guys like Jeff and his boys, they will create a bond over the years just for being able to do this sport together. As long as they stick with it, that will be that a lot greater of most father-son bonds. I've seen it a dozen times and it always plays out the same. That relationship you grasp from doing this together is a bond that cannot be broken. Absolutely not, never will, in life or death. So Jeff, thanks for reaching out, buddy, and I appreciate your kind words. We had a chance to chat a little bit, as I do with everybody of you guys that reaches out to me. I have taken the time to talk to each and every single one of you, and you will never know how much your kindness and support to this channel and my little brainchild project means to me. I simply don't have words. I've had this outpouring of outreach from each and every one of you, and it's been amazing. I didn't expect it, you guys, to be honest with you, and it's been fantastic. And I hope to keep in contact with you. Heck, a few of you guys have invited me to come out there wherever you're at, ride with you, and I'm going to tell you right now, that is something we are going to be doing, because more important, the whole reason I created Enduro Radio in the first place was to tell my stories, but more importantly, I want to tell yours. I want to know what you guys have been through in this sport. I want to know the things you've done. I want to know what it's done for you just as a person, and how it's kind of taken you through life and your history behind it. Yeah, I've got some stories, but it's, you know, you guys are the interesting ones. And that's one of the reasons I started this whole thing, to get everybody a little closer together. And we do that by meeting each other. And if that's one way we do it, through this YouTube channel and keeping this little Enduro Radio family going, then that's just what we're gonna do. And we're just gonna keep it rolling on. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna continue riding this beautiful trail today, because I'll be honest, I think I'm gonna go back to the van, refuel, and do it again. I'm having a great day. So, I love you guys out there a lot. Thank you again for everything so far, and we're gonna keep her going. So as always, take care of yourselves out there, everybody. Damn it, take care of each other. We'll see you real soon. Cheers.